He left me alone in the room on our wedding night. I was sitting there with thousands of dreams in my heart. The room was decorated with lights, but my heart was drowning in darkness. I thought he would return after a short while. Like every bride, I was filled with happiness. But time kept passing, and he did not come back. The hands of the clock kept moving. A strange restlessness began to grow inside me. I tried to comfort myself, thinking there must be some reason. But my heart refused to believe it. It was already midnight. The whole house was silent. Suddenly, I heard some sounds from outside. Those sounds did not feel normal. They felt like whispers. I was startled. My heart started pounding hard. I looked toward the door. I heard footsteps. Those footsteps became a heavy burden on my heart. I held my breath. My hands turned cold. I had never imagined such a night. It was the first night of my life as a wife. A night that should have been full of happiness. But there was only fear. I listened carefully. The sounds became clearer. I heard a woman's laugh. Something inside me shattered. I closed my eyes. Tears began to fall on their own. I asked myself, is this the same man? The man who promised me love? The man who vowed to stay with me forever? My mind refused to accept it, but my heart already understood everything. He had left me alone, not just in the room, but in the relationship too. That night, I felt unbearably lonely. I tried to make my heart strong. I told myself maybe I was thinking wrong. Maybe it was all just an illusion. But the sounds kept coming. Those sounds were a test of my patience. A test of my dignity. I kept sitting on the bed. My eyes were fixed on the door. But that door never opened. He never returned. Morning began to approach. The call to prayer echoed. I prayed to God with all my heart. My heart was crying. My eyes were swollen. I looked at myself in the mirror. I could not recognize myself. The girl I once was had disappeared. The girl who was happy just yesterday. Now only questions remained. When he finally came, there was no shame on his face. Instead, there was a strange carelessness. I said nothing. I stayed silent. Sometimes silence hurts more than screams. He gave no explanation either. As if everything was normal. Inside, I was breaking apart. But outside, I was smiling. Because I had been taught to be patient. Days kept passing. His behavior kept changing. He started keeping his distance from me. He began to argue over small things. I started blaming myself. I tried to change myself. But the truth did not change. He had already gone somewhere else. His body was here, but his heart was elsewhere. And I was fighting alone. One day, the truth came before me. He was in love with someone else. He confessed it. His words kept echoing in my ears. The ground slipped beneath my feet. I could not even cry. My tears had dried up. I gathered myself. Because now I had to be strong. Just for myself. He asked for a divorce. Very easily. As if changing old clothes, I looked up at the sky and left everything to God. I said yes, because a forced relationship is a punishment. I set myself free. Even though my heart was wounded, my conscience was at peace. After the divorce, he married immediately. The same woman whose voice I heard on the first night. Everything became clear to me. That night was never an accident. It was all planned beforehand. I was just a character. In a story. That was never written for me. But I changed the ending myself. I did not give up. The early days were very difficult. People asked questions. They blamed me too. But I remained silent. I knew my truth. I rebuilt myself. Slowly. I learned to love myself. I recognized my worth. And I made myself strong. With time, the wounds began to heal. The pain slowly reduced. But the lessons stayed forever. I learned one thing clearly. Silence is not weakness. Even patience has its limit. And self-respect is the greatest strength. I learned to live again. Without depending on anyone. On my own strength. Today, when I look back, that night comes to my mind. The night that changed my life. It was full of pain. But it gave me my identity. I was not weak. I became strong. I did not break. I blossomed. Pain shaped me. Today I am proud of myself. That I did not abandon myself. He abandoned me. But I stood by myself. I saved myself. I held myself together. This journey was not easy. But it was true. Today I am free. And at peace. I no longer complain to anyone. Because everything taught me something. I accepted the truth. And I forgave myself. I left the past behind. And looked toward the future. I know this now. I am not alone. Many women live this pain. And remain silent. This story is not only mine. It belongs to every woman. Who went through betrayal. But did not break. Who cried, but did not lose. Who fell, but stood back up. And became stronger. This is a story of courage. That night still exists in my memory. But it no longer hurts. It reminds me of my strength. I did not lose myself. I found myself. I learned my value. One chose myself. And that is my victory. That is my peace. That is my identity. Life tested me. But I did not fear it. I stood with the truth, even if I stood alone. Today I smile. From my heart, without fear, without shame, because I did nothing wrong. The mistake was his. And that mistake made me stronger. Even today I believe. God is just. Every tear has value. Every patience has a reward. And after every dark night, morning surely comes. My morning came too. I am happy now. In my present. This story does not end here. It is a new beginning. Of a new life. Where I own myself. Where my heart is safe. Where my dignity matters. Where I am proud of myself. I am no longer alone. I am enough for myself. This is my true strength. That night passed. But the lesson remained. The pain faded. But awareness grew. I learned this truth. Love cannot be forced. A relationship survives on respect. And self-respect comes first. Today I am free and happy. This is my story. True. Emotional. Close to reality. A tale of pain. But also a symbol of courage. I did not give up. One chose myself. And that is my success. This is my life.